India. So apart from inculcating this in the game conservatory, how else can this musical form evolve? And with your help.
First is infrastructure. I think the places where we enjoy music or the places where things like this is so overdated, has not been to the next level infrastructure because people have seen, people are traveling, people go watch, and we come back to 1960s, we come back to 1950s kind of. You look at the Sphere in Las Vegas; they've gone to the next level of immersivity. We can have thousands of people watching and enjoying. And this is another reason why being a musician and going into storytelling mode and adapting VR and immersive and olfactory to see is there any alternative to cinema? Not alternative, I think, which can coexist so that people can also experience things which they can never experience in cinema. Like, now we all have mental health issues, depression, because I think there's a void in all of us. That void can be filled by storytellers, by philosophy, by entertaining in a way where you don't even know that you're taking medicine, but not just catering to your carnal needs like violence and sex and all this stuff. So there's much more than all that stuff. So it's all gone to the extreme now because we all become insensitive to a shot being kept for 1 minute or two. Oh, that's lagging. We're cutting it off. and that's what I think the new mediums are going to. If somebody's acting, they command you to look at them because that's the power of human nature, power of the soul. And that's why I think musical theatre is very important. And that's why I've come to probably celebrate one of the greatest artists of all time, Lata Mangeshkar ji.
So we'll come to Lata ji in a minute. Just continuing the thought about musical theatre. How can the various musical theatres of India come together to contribute to nation building in what is now effectively a very young nation?
First of all, the presentation. You can't just have something which was done in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Now, there are so many tools now to elevate the experience, to augment the experience, which is how they feel. And in the world of artificial intelligence, where you can just tell a prompt and then it creates a visual, people are going to love musical theatre even more. They're going to love theatre even more because there is a sense of participation. Some families, oh, my cousin sister is doing this, my son is playing this, my daughter is doing this. All that stuff will come up. There'll be a reason for them to all come together and watch it because they are part of it. It's not like somebody else is doing and they're watching it. They are themselves a part of that. So that is my dream and hope.
Now, I'm going to put Shekhar on the spot here for a second and through you. He's sitting there watching everything. So you worked with Shekhar Kapoor on Bombay Dreams, obviously, and more recently on Why the Musical as part of the Dubai Expo. So continuing your dream, do you envision a future where you're working with Shekhar again on something that incorporates the various musical theatres of India?
It's too early to say that. We've been planning a lot of things. When we sit, we just come up with ideas. He is such a great visionary. He just sits on a table, has a coffee, and comes up with great ideas. And that's when I learned that so simple, just to sit there and create, and then some of them manifest, some of them don't. And some of them actually take time to come back. Like all these virtual characters now coming in was his idea 20 years back. He had a character called Maya, and he said, all a digital character, digital avatar, and she'll be an influencer. It never happened because the technology was very expensive. It was expensive, but all the things he said 20 years back is now part of the life.
Well, I'm glad you said that because just 2 days ago, Shekhar was sitting here on this very seat and talking about the Mayaverse with Anand Gandhi, who's been working on it for a while. So hopefully that will come to fruition sooner rather than later. And coming to you mentioned infrastructure. So what is very important for musical theatre is live performances. Everything is live, right? So what do you think can be done to improve the infrastructure for musical theatre in India?
It's a very broad explanation because I find every city has got this jail we pay to get inspiration inside, called flats. We are locked inside with Netflix, TVs. We can't walk, right? It drains you. It because we have a relationship with nature. That's why when I come to Kerala, Goa and Kerala and Bengal, I said Himachal and all those places, I feel like, oh my God, this is life. Even if they don't have money, this is expensive. You can't buy because we want to make more money, and we imprison ourselves into a life which we don't enjoy. We think we're going to enjoy it later and we die. So inspiration in architecture is very important. City planning is very important. I feel like we should clean up and make our cities inspiring for artists. Then only art will come. Right? There are a lot of things we can say. I think we can do it because we are a nation. We are amazing because I see Indians in NASA, and Apple, and Microsoft, Intel. I said, these guys are doing all the work here, but why not doing for India? Because I think we need to set up. We need to set up. And when the a need arises, the door will open. When we realize something, we have a reason to work towards it. Somebody has to speak about this.
So the musical theatre of India exists very much. If you go down to the smaller towns and villages, the people really gather together and enjoy them.
It's still there, but like we were traveling in bullock carts and horse. Are we doing the same thing now? There's progression. There's trains and planes and then electric cars and other stuff. The same kind of progress has to happen in entertainment too. So that is a collective progress, not just one. Same things can be done in a very different way, augmented way. And because I've done these shows, and every time I do a show, because I came as an introvert, and I was watching myself. Oh my God, will people give money to watch me? And what should I do to make that exciting? If I watch my program, it should be exciting, and then all the change happen. You look at yourself in the mirror, the change will happen. And that's why for 25 years we've been evolving, and we go all over the world. We do some stuff. People celebrate. We're celebrating India through my music. So.
And apart from the work of Royston Abel and one or two people like that, the work Indian musical theatre really hasn't traveled that much. And you mentioned earlier how we go to the West End or Broadway to watch plays or musicals.
And China, look at China.
And Japan as well.
They're celebrating the culture in a whole new way. I think that should happen.
So, apart from an outpost like the Nita Ambani Cultural Center, do you have any plans of, expanding KM or the concept of KM into a theatre concept where people can come to this country to watch it?
Absolutely. I think what is so unique about every country is the culture which we're made of, the color, our food style, and the way we talk our language, the sound of our languages. And that should be celebrated. I think that itself is fascinating. And if it's presented in a way where they can come and watch, wow, we can never replicate this. That's the whole idea. We don't want to do Romeo and Juliet. That's not a culture. But we could do our own thing where they can never replicate us. And that's the talent, when people do something, we are so unique because that's how we're made. Instead of being inferior about it, we should be celebrating and then break it up 2 notches apart.
Oh, well said. And now coming to Lata Mangeshkar, in whose memory this series of events happens every year at Iffi.
But sorry, you said, I forgot the second answer. So I am collaborating with people now, like resorts, and I'm open to that stuff. And when people come to me, I take the whole project and envision, design the cultural center, and also starting what should be the technical plan, not starting copying something which America has done or England has done or Australia has done, but starting from if you're starting now, how should it be? How should it be ahead of everybody? Very immersive at the same time, multifunctionality, this stuff. And also the main thing is they teach in big universities like Harvard is how do you make money? It could be any idea, but if it doesn't make money, it's a flop. So that's the most important thing which I'm learning. I'm being a musician. I think the reason for things sustaining is always people involved are gaining something in a good way, and so that's when it gets self-financed and goes up.
So how do we make money? Because if you look at, again, going back to Broadway and West End, the tickets cost hundreds of pounds, hundreds of dollars, and they all go full. Like I've seen, I watched Bombay Dreams thrice, right? And it was full every time in its first year, end of the second year, and so on. But India is a very price-conscious market. So
but we don't pay people that much because our cost of living is lower. So everything can be adjusted to that stuff, right? There, I think to rent a flat or food, everything is expensive, and you have to pay 40% tax. All that stuff, the 40-50%, I don't know what it is.
I pay 40%.
Okay, so things are different here. So according to that, things will.
And so do you have a blueprint? You said you're collaborating with people.
Yeah, we have two ideas. One is almost complete, waiting for permission, and we'll very soon release how the design of that is very inspiring. I think people will love it. In Chennai, of course. And once we finish Chennai, we can do copy paste.
And do you have a timeline for that?
I think the design got completed in January, and I will reveal everything because once it happens, I think I don't want to prematurely reveal. Maybe in a year, it'll start construction, and in a couple of years, we'll have things ready. And also, Shekhar and myself, we're planning for musical ideas. Kiran Nadaji is doing something in Delhi, and everybody's opening up. Because I've been speaking about this for the past 6-7 years, ranting out.
Well, and now the dream is going to come to fruition very soon.
Also, the reason why I spoke about this, in 2008, when I started KM, considered the musical, the College of Music for Best Classical Indian and all that stuff, I never expected the kind of impact those children, after learning, transforming, would give. And I said, oh my God, this is so good. And I pay money, dollars, to watch this in Broadway. Why can't our people watch this? And it would be like just 10-15 minutes of Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story and Carmen and all these things. And year by year, the question is, where will these kids go after excelling in this and becoming world class? That question comes and goes. You started something, now you have to finish it. You have to complete it or take it to the next level, and then art center or world class infrastructure for them to perform, for people to come and watch. I recently did a show and I wanted to test out, and we had 39,000 people buying tickets, and 70,000 people landed up in Chennai. There was a ruckus. But the test, nothing, thank God, no bad things happened. Nobody died. I always pray that people should be safe and all this stuff. There's a wide of entertainment. There's a wide of, this gives happiness. And even when we are performing for 3.5 hours, 4 hours, anywhere in the world, we forget we are one with the people. It's like a shrine of peace and love and happiness. And that's what we need today. Right?
Absolutely. So speaking of peace and love and happiness,